followed by his LLB from CCS University, Meerut. He has been a technocrat, a bureaucrat, and has been an entrepreneur for past 12 years as the owner of Global Tax Guru and Global Supply Chain Guru. He is involved in policy advocacy related to blockchain, drones, and legal metrology. And he has appeared as a speaker and panelist in the area of GST, legal metrology, law, and technology. And for 3 years as a tax expert, he's answered readers' queries on the Economic Times portal. And in the year 2021, that is right now, he's serving as the president of the IT Delhi Alumni Association. And under his dynamic leadership, we have been able to take up various initiatives, such as for the first time we celebrated the Public Service Day, then IIT Alumni Faculty Day, and we also proudly featured in PM Modi's Mann Ki Baat. So now I would request for his welcome address.
I welcome to all distinguished speakers, technical experts on the subjects, and especially I welcome our today's keynote speaker, Mr. Hukam Singh Meena, is IAS Additional Secretary, Land Records, Government of India.
It should be okay. What is it saying? 3:30.
Yeah, Mr. R.K. Pandey, Member Project National Highway Authority of India, Mr. Rajan Iyer, Managing Director, Trimble India, Mr. S.P. Rajan, Head Plant and Machinery, L&T Construction, and Mr. R.L. Kashyap, Senior Vice President, Procurement, GR Infrastructure Limited, and the chairperson or the moderator, IIT Delhi alum, Mr. Manav Kohli, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Gainwell Common Cells. So today, we are in the second day of our Alumni Festival, and we have one more day to go, but we are very excited and very apt that the topic of today's this webinar, the future of technology in infrastructure building. We know that infrastructure development is a key lever for growth of Indian economy toward national aspiration being a $5 trillion economy by 2024-25. Undoubtedly, it has been becoming more challenged with the COVID, and we feel that investment in infrastructure is very strongly related with the growth rate of economy, as it has a strong multiplier effect on our GDP growth, and infrastructure impacts energy consumption, environment, employability, and create entrepreneurship. So when we see all these things, the sustainable development acquires importance. Profit with purpose also become another important thing. And this can all be achieved when we have adoption of technology in infrastructure building. As we know, the recent task force recommended an investment of another $1.6 trillion in infrastructure in next 5 years. And given the sense of urgency and volume work, what is the role of technology will play in accelerating speed of infrastructure execution? We'll get a lot of answer in the today's webinar, and the more importantly, what is the new normal in infrastructure building and the role played by technology. Thank you very much. I again welcome on behalf of IIT Delhi Alumni Associations to panelists, attendees, and my fellow alumni who are across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, President, for your welcome address. And now, for this session, I would like to invite the moderator, Mr. Manav Kohli. Mr. Manav Kohli has a BTech in Mechanical Design, 1996 batch from IIT Delhi. He is the Chief Operating Officer, Gainwell Commercials Private Limited, and he brings with him 23 years of experience covering general management, sales, marketing, new business development, international business, and business excellence in construction and mining equipment industry. So now I hand over the session to the moderator, Mr. Kohli. So please.
Thank you, Mr. Ravinder, IITD Alumni Association President. Thank you for putting this forum together, sir. And thank you, Dr. Gayatri, for introducing me in this session. So today I have the honor and privilege of having a very distinguished panel to moderate. And I'm really looking forward to this discussion. And again, my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Hukum Singh Meena, Additional Secretary, Land Record, Government of India. Mr. Meena, of course, special thank you for you to, be on a very difficult travel schedule and, for stopping by and attending this call. I hope you can hear us. Mr. Meena is a civil engineer and MBA Finance from University of Birmingham, UK. He joined the Indian Administrative Services in 1992. Mr. Meena has led digitization of land records on a customized platform, which ensures the interdepartmental connectivity and portability of data across various functions. Mr. Meena has been recently declared as winner of Digital India Award 2020 by the Government of India for his path-breaking transformation in the area of land records. Hearty congratulations, sir. Previously, Mr. Meena has been awarded the UNESCO International Award for Education in 1997, Akshar Ratna Award for Education in 2001, and Rajasthan Gaurav Award in 2015. What a pleasure and honor to have Mr. Meena connected with us. Sir, over to you for the keynote address on our topic, which is the future of technology in infrastructure development or building.
Thank you, Manavji. I'm not able to. I'm not sure whether you are able to hear my voice or not, because
So
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. Although my photo and videos are not available, but doesn't matter. It's a very privilege, and I thank alumni IITD for giving me this opportunity and providing me this platform, especially this very important platform. I thank Mr. Manav, who has given my profile introduction. And let me tell you that since last 20, 25, 26 years, I am dealing with the land revenue administration in the country. Last 5.5 years, I am in Government of India, and especially dealing with the land and its related issues, especially how to use the IT technology, IT applications in providing transformation and transparent and corruption-free system in the land governance in the country. And we have taken a lot of initiative, especially in the case of registration, because the first thing which would come in the way of providing infrastructures, because I've been attending number of meetings in Government of India, especially in highways, the power sector, where the land is a really now problem for providing actually thrust and impetus to the infrastructure development in the country. So in 2015 and 16, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, we have started use of IT applications in the land governance system in the country. So basically, more or less, I will be talking more on the availability of the land for the infrastructure project and how to make it easier and without any litigant free, especially use of IT applications in case of registration of the properties, for transferring of land. And recently we have started a new initiative in the state of Gujarat, where you might be aware that there's a lot of problems when we transfer agriculture land or forest land to commercial or industrial land, especially for creating infrastructures, especially highways and railways. There's a lot of problems, and I have been receiving a lot of complaints from the different departments. So we have taken an initiative that rather than going the client, the requisitioning authority, going to the different departments for NOCs and convergence of the land for creating infrastructures like highways, railways, or industry or commercial sector or SEZ or whatever you call. There's a centralized portal wherein you can upload your all documents and requirements. and the central, there's a controller to the central portal, and the controller will send all the documents to the concerned departments, about 19 or 20 departments as per the case. And those departments have been given, I think, 7-8 days time, depending upon the type of department, like forest, electricity, revenue department, collector, tahsildar. And within 7 days, either they have to, why I'm elaborating this example, because this is a very crucial. Those who are involved in the creating of infrastructure, especially highways and railways and industrial sectors, they might be aware that the conversion of the land after acquisition is itself a difficult process, and after acquisition of the land, the conversion from agriculture to the commercial or industrial is a very difficult process. So it takes about more than 2 to 3 years. So we have taken special initiatives in the government, at the government of India level, and it has been implemented in many states, how to reduce this time of 2 to 3 years to just 1 or maximum 15 months, and how to make it litigation free, that the farmers are satisfied with the amount of and kind of compensation we are providing to them. And second, that the process which is adopted should be transparent both for the industry sector and for the farmers or the owner of the land. So these initiatives we have been working out day in, day out since last 5-6 years. And as Mr. Manav has already said, that this year we have taken a special for increasing the rank of India in the ease of doing business, especially creating the infrastructure in the country. We have taken another very important initiatives like making the registration of the or transfer of the properties very easy, so that people are not unnecessarily harassed in the sub-registrar office to just transfer the land which they have purchased for different sectors. So that is called National Generic Document Registration System, wherein again you can upload all the documents, all the required paper sitting at your home, and within no time the information will be transmitted to your mobile or to your laptop, or in the website, the account you have created in the SRO portal. So there again, they will tell you that what are the deficiencies, and they will give you the time also. If suppose all the documents are completed, then they will give you the allotted time. So when that allotted time, if you reach to the office, there's a provision, there's a mandatory on the part of sub-registrar office that property which is subject to the transaction should be transferred within 10 to 15 minutes. And this has been already rolled out in 10 to 15 states. And we have got the evolution study come impact assessment study also conducted by independent reputed agencies like IIM and Landesa and NCER. So those are the institutions which have very high credibility. So they have reported that the time for the transaction of the property or transfer of property has been largely reduced from 3 to 4 hours to 10 to 15 minutes. And the processes through which it was going in the past has been reduced from 9 to just 5 or 4. And the number of visits which a person is required to make to the sub-registrar office is only 1 or 2 in place of 6 to 8. And he or she need not to actually collect any kind of information from any offices like revenue, income tax, the PAN number, the TDS detail. All things will be automatically calculated. The required document will be extracted from the database of revenue and the finance ministry, and the person is just have to mention the person has to mention only the survey plot number or the details of the property he is interested in. Rest details will be automatically extracted from the database of the different departments. And this has been appreciated by Government of India, as Mr. Manav has said, that I have been given this highest award of the National E-Governance, and it will be conferred by Honorable Rashtrapati Ji on 30th of this month, the day after, 2 days after today. So this, I think, largely will make easier for the transaction of the property, making available of the property. And second, that I have already mentioned about the Gujarat. The second thing which immediately encounters a entrepreneurs, a industry, a person who is especially engaged in the creating of the infrastructure in the country, is how to converge, how to get the convergence of the land. Because unless until it is converted, you cannot build road, you cannot create infrastructures in the country, port, airport, anything, any kind of infrastructure you cannot create without going through that process. So now that also we have been experiencing that that number of visits by a person to different offices has been reduced largely to only single. So he has to upload all the documents, and the the controller person will send those details to the concerned offices, and they are supposed to examine all those details and give their comments within 7 to 10 days. That timeline has been defined. And after 7 days, if they don't give any comments, then it is presumed that they have no objection to the proposal. So the land after 20, they have ensured that the Gujarat government has ensured that after 20 or 21 days, the land will be converted from agriculture to the industrial or commercial as per the needs for the infrastructure. So this is a very good initiative, and we are thinking to replicate, because pilot basis it has been experimented in the state of Gujarat. Now we are thinking that this should be replicated in other parts of the country so that it's easier. Again, it's a comprehensive and intensive use of IT applications in making available of the land for the creating infrastructures. Third initiative which we have taken, this is very important to actually may share these information on this platform, because I'm working on these subjects since last, as I said, 25 years. And since last 5.5 years, I'm a policymaker for the entire country. Now our next attempt is that all the information about the land rated should be available at one platform. So whenever a person, a entrepreneur, or a person who is especially involved in creating infrastructure in the country should at one place get all the information. Especially there are problems of litigation which are pending in the court. So now we are creating a integrated land information management system. We call it LIMS. So it has been already implemented in 230 districts, and our plan is that before the end of 2023, it should be implemented in the entire country, so that whosoever is interested in getting land, or in purchasing land or acquisition of the land for the infrastructure or any purpose, for industry purpose, for commercial purpose, that he should get all the information at one place rather than going from office to office. So this is our objective. Mr. Manav, can you tell me how much time you will give me?
Sir, surely we have time to listen to your very valuable inputs. Yeah, please go ahead.
I will limit my discussion to that extent only. If you give me the time limit, 5-10 minutes.
So another, I think, So I think another 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes is okay.
Okay. So this is very important, that all the information should be available. So right now we have digitized and computerized all the land records of the country except 30-40,000 villages. So out of 6,55,000 villages, we have already information about right from the state level to the village level available on the website, and it is accessible and it's in a public domain. It's not a password product. Anybody can access those information and anybody can download those information. So about 5,90,000 villages information are already available about the land, what kind of land. So so that will help in deciding or taking any kind of policy decision by the policy makers. Now, our focus in the department as a land resources department, in order to facilitate the industries and infrastructure sector, that all the our database of the land records should be integrated with the finance ministry, so that any kind of mortgages on the land should be reflected to the banks, to the civil courts, to the revenue courts. So that any kind of litigation is going pending in the court, it should be reflected thereon. So integration is our priority now, so that person should get the information, and after that, I think the all information related to the land available at one place. I think person should will not spend much time on collecting the land information. Now, acquisition is a process, but over a period of time, we have been building the capacity for acquiring land for the infrastructure, especially. And I'm happy to share those information that liberally, as a department, we are agreeing the proposal of the state government, the central government ministry for amending their acts so that it can cater to the need of the industry and to the infrastructure sectors for easily availability of the land for the creating infrastructure. But at the same time, my now another focus that we have created a very good document, very valuable document, that in the country, seeing the food security concern of the country as a whole, we should make a zoning system in the country. We should divide the land in the zones, and we in a beforehand we should create suitable zones for the infrastructures and for the industrial corridors, so that unnecessary our stress should not put on the food grains also, food scarcity in the country. So that is also a very important concern. I think I thought it proper to share with you that now our focus is that to create or to develop the zoning or planning of the land, so that certain sectors which are otherwise waste and easily connectable, we can provide for the infrastructure and for the industry. So these are 3-4 priorities of the department, and in consultation with the sister ministries, brother ministries, so that associate ministries, so that we can go together and we can keep the requirements of the all sectors into the hand, and how to make the quick availability of the land for the infrastructure. That's it. That's our. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Although I'm sorry that I have been traveling from Simla to, I went to attend a meeting with the Chief Secretary, and especially for the land, this NGDR's Rashtrapati Award, because there we have implemented 1 year back, so there was some problem. So I have to rush to the Simla, and I'm on the way from Simla to Delhi. I am before Chandigarh, so I am in the hill station, so maybe some connectivity problem. I am extremely sorry for that. Otherwise, I would have been I have been privileged to actually hear the whole conversation and participate in the whole session. I will be excused for after some time so that I can travel from here to my destination. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So, sir, absolutely a privilege that, in middle of such pressing issues of national importance, and, definitely I can understand, and you have spared time, and, very relevant. I think the key things that we heard about technology bringing in transparency, ease of business, single window for the investors as well as infrastructure executors, accountability in terms of the turnaround times. I think very important re-engineering of processes to bring about compression of timelines, and the effort required, data integration, and definitely also keeping in mind the dilemma we always have between the food security and the infrastructure, which is absolutely a national dilemma for everyone, and so a good solution coming from technology because of that. So thank you for such amount of volume of work for the nation, and for sharing it on this platform. Next, I'll now start the panel discussion, and I'll start by introducing Shri R.K. Pandey, Member Projects, National Highway Authority. Shri R.K. Pandey is a civil engineer with a post-graduation from Maulana Azad College of Technology, Bhopal. He joined Ministry of Road and Transport, Highways and Transport in 1986, and he rose to the rank of Additional Director General, presently working in National Highways Authority of India as Member Projects. Mr. Pandey is member of various policy-making organizations so far as the highways engineering is concerned, He is the Vice President, INGIA BSc. He's the Vice President on the Indian Roads Congress and Fellow of Institutes of Engineers. So, Mr. Pandey, a warm welcome. Thank you for on this wonderful Sunday afternoon for sparing time. We are certainly taking some personal time away from you to hear you today. So I would start with a perspective from Mr. Meena. We saw the land records digitization perspective, and here from a national highway perspective, authority perspective, the wanted position that you have as a nodal agency leading nation's infra growth. How do you see the role of technology evolving in highway engineering? Over to you, Mr. Pandey.
Thank you, Mano. And first of all, I would like to thank IITD Alumni Association for giving me an opportunity to share my views. Friends, from the beginning, I'm in the highway sector. And if I see the highway sector over last 3 decades, the whole gamut has sea change. Just for further elaborating my point of view, you might be aware there are 2 very ambitious programs. One was it was launched around 2 decades back, National Highway Development Project (NHDP), under which we have seen a lot of transformation, and the GQ, which connects 4 metro cities and north, south, east, west corridor, which connects northern part of the country to the southern part of the country, and the Silchar to Porbandar. And the recently launched program Bharatmala. If we see in terms of the planning, the NHDP, when we launched NHDP, our whole emphasis was to augment the capacity of the existing road. And when we launched Bharatmala, it is not the augmentation of the capacity, but we were searching for the shortest route connecting between 2 points. Why this philosophical change in the whole philosophy of launching these 2 programs? At the time of launching of 2 decades back, when we launched NHDP, we didn't have that kind of data, and we don't have that kind of analytical capability to analyze the available data. As a result, we followed the existing alignments, and today, when we have data available for different kind of freight movement among 600 districts in the country, we know from which place which particular freight is originating and where it goes. With the availability of that data and with the availability of the capability to analyze this data, we benefited by that. And the new scheme Bharatmala, which we have launched, is entirely different. It is not only talking about improving the capacity of the existing road, but identifying the shortest route. Say, for example, today Delhi to Mumbai is connected to an existing route, and we are constructing another new route which will provide, which is around 200 kilometers shorter than the existing route. So this is all possible because of the technology. When it is not only in terms of planning, as you heard Mr. Meena, pre-construction activity is a really time-consuming and a very cumbersome process. There, people like Mr. Meena, he's helping us a lot, and we are again using technology. On one part of, one side where Mr. Meena told you how they are digitizing all the records, we also made our entire process using technology, and today, no physical movement of the paper. All our notifications, starting from Kala till payment, are through we have a portal, Bhumi Rasi portal. So on one hand, planning has changed, our processes has changed, particularly this Corona, it has given us, rather it is a challenge. What we did is today, all our processes are through electronic, whether it is payment, whether it is even correspondence. Now we made it a point that all our correspondences are through our data lake project. The point is, once we are changing our planning process, we are changing our processes. Coming back to see the kind of work available with us. The road building is not as simple as it was 2 decades back. Today we are building around 30 kilometers a day. Now, tackling that kind of challenge will have to depend upon technology only. I have to have self a project ready with me. Can I do that kind of project with traditional kind of surveying? No, we cannot. So we switched over from traditional or conventional way of surveying to LiDAR based. We have eliminated all the human intervention in the surveying. Even when we'll talk about pavement survey, we are not now depending upon the individual to go and carry out the survey and tell me the extent of cracking or pothole and all those. We are using network survey vehicles. It is not only in terms of surveying, but it is also when we'll have to judge the performance of the contractor or the concessionaire or whether he's meeting the requirement. So we have made all efforts to introduce technology for planning, surveying, project preparation, coming to the implementation. Again, the question is when I have to construct 30 kilometers a day and thinking of more. I'm looking for all those kind of equipment, material, and technology which can help me in achieving that kind of objective. It is not only construction, but at the same time, today we are building road, and there is a government policy that we are tolling it if it is a 4-lane road or road is 2-lane with paved shoulder. When you are tolling a road, the expectation of the road users are certainly be higher. And when their expectations are higher, what we'll have to think of? We'll have to give them a kind of durable road where they can move on a road which is free from all kind of defects. So when I'm thinking of giving that kind of road, again, technology play a very important role. It is not only for durable roads. Also, when it comes to collection of toll, then the operation come in, cooperation will also come in. I'll have to provide that kind of operation. I'll have to provide all those kind of processes in such a way that it entrusts the traffic to the least in a very minimal way. Today, you might have heard that we have introduced FASTag for collection of toll, so that people need not to stop and they, while traveling, the toll can be deducted. So we have made a lot of efforts to introduce technology, and in fact, not we made effort, it was the compulsion to do it, otherwise we cannot achieve that kind of target. Of course, we have done a lot, but still there are a lot to done, because we are not stopping on 30 kilometers a day. Today, the users' expectations are much higher. So we'll have to give them much better product. We try to change our contact documents. Now today we are in our any contract, we never say how to construct a road. We only ask contractor and concessionaire, I'm looking for a product which gives me this kind of performance. So from the point of view of the contract implementation, it is all open. Anybody can provide any kind of technology, product, and the material. Only it should meet the requirement of the performance level. It is our effort to eliminate all those kind of human intervention and make our whole system a kind of transparent system. We are looking for any segment who can help us in achieving this. I'm sure you might be having some question. You feel free to ask. We can, if something is left over, I'll try to cover in my second round. Thank you very much, Mano.
Thank you so much, sir. Absolutely, the nation is today very closely watching, the 30 kilometers of national highways being constructed every day. No mean achievement. I think we have come a long way as a nation in building. And it's not just about the kilometers that we build. It is the quality, the durability, the safety aspects, the profile that we create, and several intersections, complicated intersections that we create, and so on and so forth. So I think this is a fairly becoming technology intensive. Like you said, COVID has kind of made it important that we reduce the human effort at times where it can be avoided, and even otherwise from the perspective of carrying out such large work. So thank you, sir, for bringing in this perspective. I think we hear the other panelists, and then we will come back to you with certainly some follow-up questions. Our next esteemed panelist, Mr. S.P. Rajan, Head Plant and Machinery L&T Construction. Mr. S.P. Rajan is a mechanical engineer with 3 decades of industrial experience. He's held very senior positions in many leading construction organizations, including Chapuji, Palanji, SCC, and Welspun. Mr. Rajan has always taken a visionary approach in terms of early adoption of technology. And under his leadership, the organization has leveraged key technologies such as the machine control technology, etc., to enhance efficiency and accuracy in execution of very prestigious highway projects and airport projects, which L&T, as the largest construction entity, is executed in the country. So, a hearty welcome, sir. Yeah, right, sir. So, pleasure and privilege to have you here with us.
Thanks, Manu.
My question to you is, as the leading construction company, and with the global footprint, I was just reading that the top L&T is amongst the top 30 global construction contractors. So, with that kind of a perspective, what is the leverage that you have experienced through deployment of these technologies, which you have personally steered in your organization?
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Meena, Mr. Pandey, Mano, and all others. And we are again back here, Rajan, in the same this thing. All right, great. Just imagine having heard Mr. Meena and Mr. Pandey. Can a construction company afford to be left behind? Right? That's where we are now. If there is no digitalization, there is no future for anybody for that matter. It's going to be the key differentiator. Though construction industry is a bit late entrant into the, what I can say, the digital world, it's actually a very, very huge opportunity for us because many things have not been done. And I would like to just share a few things what we have done till now. And yes, as Mr. Pandey rightly said, survey has become a kind of a LiDAR based now, photogrammetry, and it's the past is now left behind. What we used to do in 30 days, things happen in 5 to 10 days time. The 100-kilometer survey has become just a kind of easy job nowadays. Rovers and base stations have become a common word among our users. They probably will forget in a few days what we were doing in the past. And for us, the material management becomes 60 to 70% of our entire activity, and there this digital is playing a vital role. Material management, we have created something called stores to consumption, boulders to concrete, and online inventory, weighbridge management, and physical inventory of bulk materials, and all these things are done through certain digital processes. Okay, when the pile is there, we need not anymore go and just calculate things on paper. We'll have to just run a kind of equipment through the pile, and we can get what is there in that particular stockpile. Same way, power, the electricity consumption is around 1 to 2% of our project cost. And today, we can do everything sitting on a table, the entire power management and energy audit. The other thing that consumes the most is, which is almost around 10% of our turnover, or the project cost is diesel. The diesel consumption is very high, and diesel monitoring also is very important in our area. We do that. Then workman monitoring, then execution support. Like as of now, the precast components are all with RFID embedded in them, and we know which component has gone where. Underwater digging has become an easy thing with the digital support, and O&M support also. Like if you have SCADA systems attached to them, then O&M system also is very comfortable to monitor. Not to speak of the BIM technology, which I believe Rajan will be touching, his favorite subject, right? Now, I can only say, touch it, we have a digital solution for it. And mind you, just a beginning. Right, well, I'm bit well associated with certain equipment related automation. The if we say in construction industry, automation is there, people will be little bit surprised. You know, we started this as a kind of equipment tracking, like a kind of GPS based where the equipment is. Then we thought that, you know, why not we do something with that particular data? Then we now know what time it starts, what time it stops, and what speed it goes, and when the lunch break takes place, when the days, you know, that small information of on off has given us quite a lot of information today, that I know how a diesel gets consumed in an equipment through that data. So there is a kind of analytics, like if an equipment goes for on a heavy duty work, it consumes certain amount of diesel. If it goes on a travel mode, it consumes certain amount of diesel. It goes on a kind of idling mode, it consumes certain amount of diesel. But what we were giving in the past, we used to give on a hourly basis. Like if the engine was on for about 1 hour, give this much diesel to this equipment, and that was getting into a lot of pilferages and a lot of other things. And now that kind of control has come to a larger extent. Then what we thought that, you know, well, why not we extend this into some kind of automation in the system? Today, a motor grader, which can do X cubic meter, can do 1.5 to 2.5X if we have a proper grader automation system. And you know, it has gone to such an extent that, you know, sometimes the surveyors, they take the grader and keep it on a surface and say, yeah, this level is right. So that is the power of automation today. We have now started excavation. Like in those days, you know, that the drains are of trapezoidal type. When you use an excavator to cut it, either it cuts more or it cuts less and causing a lot of discomfort. Today you can put a small software into it, load the particular what do you call the profile, and surveyor need not come and say do the job. The operator can straight away go to that place, keep the bucket, he knows where he is, and then he has to start digging the trench. And the productivity has increased at least 5 times because of this. Paving has become a proper automated system now. So are many other things possible. In fact, we are now looking at autonomous vehicle. I don't know, it will take a little bit of time, but we are moving towards that. Well, I just want to stop here. There can be many, many questions on this because this is a very interesting subject. I'll leave it to you, Manav, right? We'll catch up subsequently. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Absolutely. I think we all talk about autonomous cars and we still talk about it with element of surprise and awe. And I think much lesser known that there is autonomous vehicles available in construction, which are doing, you know, in some measure of autonomous, doing mining as well as construction work. So that's an interesting aspect. Thank you for bringing that up, sir. And all the other aspects, you know, use of RFID, materials management, assessment of estimation of stocks through technology, which was very time consuming, people consuming. And then the 1.5 to 2.5x leverage in terms of using productivity improvement of a particular piece of equipment, the capital equipment, heavy capital equipment that are involved. So perfect. And the cost, ultimately boiling down to the cost of execution. When we are executing such large projects, every bit of efficiency improvement counts. And this is big, 1.5 to 2.5x. Thanks for bringing in that perspective. Our next esteemed guest today on the panel is Mr. Ratnlal Kashyap, Senior Vice President, Procurement from GR Infra Projects. Mr. Kashyap is a PGDM in Material and Supply Chain Management with over 2 decades of experience in procurement and logistics functions in many of the top infrastructure organizations. Currently with GR Infra Projects. Just to tell you, GR Infra Projects, you know, has been recognized as the fastest growing construction companies in 2019 by Construction World, which is one of the trade journals in our line of business. It's been a 3-time recipient of CIDC Vishwakarma Award. GR Infra has got several citations and certificates as appreciation from Ministry of Road Transport and Highways for early completion of work. I mean, which is very important, time of execution, FP reputation. And Mr. Kashyap himself personally plays a pivotal role as a champion of technology within his organization, and also leads the backward and forward integration initiatives in his organization. So welcome, Mr. Kashyap, to this panel discussion. My question is that it's a little different to you. So GR Infra Projects as a rising organization is being an early adopter of technology. That's the reputation that you have. Can you please share with us what drives the culture of technology orientation in your organization, and what is the real motivation behind it? That will be very interesting to see the aspect of culture and in adoption of technology. Over to you, Mr. Kashyap.
Thank you, Manav. Thank you for giving this opportunity, and good afternoon to everybody. Sir, actually, I've been with this organization for almost a decade now. So, starting a company where everything was manual and then coming to a level where you have always a pressure of, sustaining the business and being the fastest growing through times. It's a huge, opportunity also, and it's a challenge for everybody. So what we have done, I think it's more often, sir, the strong systems in your company. I mean, it's the good resources you have. And as you said, Mano, it is again a part of backward integration, where a lot of such components has been backward integrated to attain the self-sufficiency. And also, I mean, one major part is like the design team which we have, which is almost a big team, with a lot of value engineering going on every time. So your question regarding like what's the culture change means, as I told you, from a small contractor from Udaipur and then going to level of the fastest growing company has been a great journey for us. Like Mr. Sir said, I mean, Mr. Pandey also said, and Mr. Rajan also said, sir, we are in a process of benchmarking the best of practices. Like Sir said, automation of way bridges. So we have been in the process of automizing and bringing IoTs in the systems. Like today, if we talk of a few examples which I can quote you as, like especially Mr. Iyer is also here. So we have been adopting these 3D technologies where you can remotely upload a design CAD drawings on the system and have an accessibility of the graders or productivity of the graders almost 24/7 without waiting for the surveys to be at the site in the morning. Secondly, if you look at a few things which we did, like weighbridge automation, like you always had a challenge of pilferage, trucks waiting, manipulations at weighbridges. So we have integrated our weighbridges with SAP. So everything coming in to the systems in the inventory is currently automated. Thirdly, what we have seen, sir, like there are a lot of precast segments which was required at a site level. So in this precast, I mean, there are a lot of automations which we did, like we had almost 300 kilometers of boundary walls to be done across the Delhi-Mumbai corridor. So we have imported equipments where you can do almost a 2 kilometer, 1 kilometer of precasting today at a single span. Secondly, a lot of segments to be casted. So all this segment casting has been automated as of now, and you can have a live view of having all those access remotely and see what the production is going on. So, I mean, these are the few things which GR has done over a period of time. And I think today, when the batching plants and the hot mix plant, if you want to operate remotely, sitting at your corporate office, see what the production has been done can also be seen at a remote location. So you can say we have a roadmap of all the digitization process. And honestly, I mean, we are in the process of doing that automation, and we have a roadmap and looking forward to benchmark and the best of practices like L&T does, or the expectation which client has from us. Yeah, thank you, Manu. I think this is what we have.
Thank you, Mr. Kashyap. Like you pointed out, perhaps I would associate your unique reputation of being early in terms of completion of work with your orientation to get the processes right with use of technology, experiment and innovate on technology so that you can do your work more seamlessly across the board. I think I could draw that kind of a correlation between growing fast and using technology to do that. So thank you for very unique views, Mr. Kashyap, from your side. Our next esteemed panelist, Mr. Rajan Iyer, Vice President and Managing Director for Trimble India, wholly owned subsidiary of Trimble Lions USA. Mr. Rajan Iyer, fortunately, is an alumnus of IIT Delhi. And he has a master's degree in computer science from University of Texas, Austin, and general management certification from Harvard School of Business. He's responsible for all aspects of Trimble's operation in SAARC, including software development centers of excellence in Chennai and Pune. He has over 25 years of general management experience and has held senior positions in various technology organizations prior to joining Trimble. He's an active member of American Chamber of Commerce, Indian IMA, Indian CEO Forum, and IIT Delhi Alumni Association. So welcome, Mr. Rajan, to this December end of Sunday afternoon, most difficult time to be getting into a discussion. But, again, now from a very different perspective, Rajan, from a global perspective, we have now had the land-related discussion. We've had the awarding agency perspective. We've had the contract execution perspective. Now, from a global perspective in technology adoption, what are some of the best practices that we can talk about, and what are the foreseeable benefits that can be expected out of such good practices, in our context?
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Very glad to be part of this August panel of industry experts. As you mentioned, we have the largest representative from the largest contracting company, the awarding agency, another marquee customer. So I'm very glad to be here, and I'd like to thank you, Manav, and the IIT Alumni Association for inviting me. You asked me a very interesting question. I think globally, the penetration of technology in construction is still low. I mean, it is in the single digits. If you think about it, it's almost thought of as an afterthought until now, when, interestingly, because of the COVID pandemic, because of social distancing, because of not being able to travel to site, more and more technology is being adopted. So always a silver lining in every cloud. That's what I believe. And I think this trend is going to accelerate. If you look at some of the best practices, I think if you look at construction industry, it's very complex. I mean, you got architects, you've got contractors, you've got owners, you've got the tradespeople, you got the O&M people, you got the project management consultants, and everybody brings different perspective. Fortunately, there is no architect here. I can tell you that, they like to be pampered, right? I mean, they think that they are going to build the next most beautiful building or airports or terminals or whatever. So they have to be catered in a different way. The contractors are very practical. The owners, they are concerned that they should have the best project done within time, within budget, and so on. So a lot of stakeholders, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of sometimes competing priorities, right? And lots of different stages in the continuum. As Mr. Meena very explicitly mentioned about the pre-construction work. So much time is taken in the pre-construction, in the land acquisition. Then Mr. Pandey talked about feasibility and planning. How do you align the routes, for example, in a linear construction, so that you get the most optimal value from an owner perspective? Then you have the contractors who need to ensure that they are delivering within time, within budget, and the highest quality product. As Mr. Pandey also said, the expectations are high. Nobody tolerates a pothole or a potty, pothole-filled road, etc. They want to be able to go at high speeds and deliver the product. And that's what is happening with the advent of new construction technologies. So a lot of competing priorities, but a lot of common goals also. So I think one of the things we are seeing globally is all the stakeholders coming together and saying, yes, we need technology. I think that's a big first step. Whether it's owner or project management consultant, contractor, they are all saying, yes, we need technology. The second thing that is happening slowly is that technology is being thought of at the forefront at the time of concept as opposed to as an afterthought. Mr. Rajan, whom I've had the pleasure of interacting with many years, I mean, he will tell you, by the way, if you can convince Mr. Rajan of a technology, you can convince anyone in the world. That's how thorough he is, okay? We've been working with L&T for a long time, and they are very, very data driven. So we are glad to have customers like that, because that shows the confidence that we have in the technology. So the point that I'm trying to make is that they are looking at technology at the beginning rather than as an afterthought, and they are looking at technology for each stage of the continuum. So I'm looking at in two dimensions. One is the stages of the construction continuum, and the second one is the various stakeholders. I think the intersection of that is one of the most important best practices that is coming on board. And what this is resulting is, Manav, if I may just quickly add, is that we are no longer talking about isolated application of technology, but we are looking at technology as a continuum, whether it is a hardware platform or a software platform or any kind of analytics or IoT, etc. We are going from platform, we are connecting, we are working on connectivity between different stakeholders, different stages. We are looking at optimization of information, optimization of each stage. Mr. Rajan actually mentioned about diesel, workmen being at the right place at the right time, assets being at the right place at the right time using things like RFID. So that is becoming very important. A smooth, almost like a manufacturing set of environment, right? In a car manufacturing plant, everything is going so smoothly that the problem is actually an exception. Whereas in construction industry, there's so many things happening at the same time. Most of the time it is problem resolution. So we are moving from a construction to a more of a manufacturing environment, manufactured buildings, manufactured roads. Similarly, worker safety is becoming a big step in the right direction, because construction equipment are very serious in terms of their power, etc. And so many people being around in the construction site, safety is very important. And finally, Mr. Rajan touched upon this automation. People talk about car automation. I believe that automation in heavy industries like mining, construction, or agriculture, the return on investment is much higher, because you're talking about removing human intervention, human errors in automating in repetitive and dangerous processes. So whether it is hardware or software, platform connectivity, optimization, safety, and automation is becoming the key. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, you will see automation not only in terms of the machines, but also in terms of the processes. The AI engine that is sitting there will tell a particular worker where he or she needs to be next. It will tell a particular machine what it needs to do next. So a lot of automation is going to be the wave of the future, which I think, many people may say, oh, automation means loss of jobs. Actually, I think that it will increase the skill level of the people. It will increase the economic benefit. It will increase the environmental benefit, because you're going to do the right thing at the highest quality the very first time. And it is going to optimize the input cost. So I think overall, there will be a lot of benefit to adopting technology. So I'll stop here and definitely be part of the any future questions.
Yes, thank you, Rajan. Perfect. Absolutely. The term that comes to my mind is that perhaps technology needs to be from design to dirt, transcending all the aspects of construction. I think, and that's how you can get real leverage, the aspects of cost economy, efficiency, safety, everything can come through if we really take an integrated approach to technology. And yet, like you rightly said, perhaps technology adoption in our country and even in several other countries, like you said, a single digit still in the field of construction. So I then come back to Mr. Pandey, taking that baton back to you, sir, that, being such a situation, what do you think the way forward is really for the nation? All these technologies, all these platforms being available, how can we leapfrog? What are the challenges that you foresee, and what are the way forwards, or even the role our institute like IITs can play, in making sure that technology is there in our, executing the nation's agenda more efficiently, more effectively?
Manu, I can divide your question into two parts. One is the challenges which we are facing today.
Right.
As you heard, different people from the different segment, everybody is doing something or the other as far as automation or introduction of technology is concerned. But as a whole, as a system as a whole, we could not do it. And there are challenges in the sense, say, for example, today I am dealing with maybe 200 contactors. Straight away, I can't switch over that I'll start asking that I need all the equipment should be equipped with this. That is the issue. But this is also a fact that we have also realized that if I want to have highest quality, at the same time we can save time and then we can economize on our construction, we'll have to move towards this. This is an area which was really neglected, but NHI has already taken a step in this direction. And what I am looking for is, it requires rather a broader consultation with the equipment manufacturer, the technology providers, as well as the contractor. We'll have to explain our contractors that yes, it is in fact it is going to help you, and that is the only way which we can implement. As you heard in the whatever panelists said, construction is one area where the introduction of technology is slower. It's a fact. And we have to work on it. And there, I think we'll have to sit together and evolve ways how we can do it. I'm not saying over, in one day we'll switch over from this to this. But yes, of course, I'm looking for that day when I'll put it as a condition that, say, for example, I'll tell you, I'll draw a parallel. There was a time when we started using hot mix plant. It was 20 years back. There was only a few number available in the country. But when we made it mandatory that I'll have to have hot mix plant, then today what is happening is we have more than one hot mix plant in each of the districts. So it is not a big issue. Only point is the question of availability and explaining the contractor, and we have started working on it. But I'll certainly would like to request support from all the people who are in the construction industry, who are in the manufacture of the equipments, who are in the providing services or the technology, to come forward. Let us sit together and evolve a time frame by which we can introduce all these technology, particularly in construction. And there are a few small issues which can be sorted out and can be implemented. Coming to the role of IITs in providing and helping us in providing technology. In this aspect, what I see is IIT, I'm expecting something which they'll give something new. The introduction of those technology which are already implemented in around the world can be done sitting across with all the stakeholders. But IITs can help me in introducing new technology which are really new to us, we are not aware of. Towards this, I can only tell you what we did is we have signed MOU with all the IITs, and rather what we did is we said, you adopt any stretch of the national highway. You adopt any stretch, you suggest whatever way you would like to. It could be in the area of environmental issues, it could be in the area of road safety, it could be area of introduction of new material, new technology, or new equipments. You take up, we'll allow you to use it. Not only this, now as I told you, we are collecting a lot of data either in terms of at the time of DPR preparation or during implementation of the contract. We are running network survey vehicle every 6 months. So now I have time series data for different specification over a period of time. We are willing to share it free of cost with all the IITs and IITs. You use this data, you analyze this data, because today that data I am using only for the purpose of implementation of the contract, whether the road is meeting the requirement. But if somebody can, dig deep in the data and give me some kind of prediction model for the deterioration of this kind of road under this kind of condition, perhaps it will be, it would be of much use for me for implementation of our planning for maintenance and all those things. So we are open. I'll rather seek support from each and everyone to help us in improving our way of implementation of the project. By their support, we will reach in a position where we can deliver better products in an economic way. Thank you, Manav.
Manav, you're muted. Manav, you're muted.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Mr. Pandey. I think, yep, absolutely right. I think it starts with creating a consensus, and I think but it's heartening to see that we have all stakeholders today, fortunately, on board, and everyone has, like you mentioned, interest in technology. How to put this whole picture together is, I think, the task for the industry going forward. I absolutely agree, and certainly our premier academic institutes can really bring in some confidence, or by doing the right data analysis and studying and creating cases for technology. Sir, I come back to you and Mr. SP Rajan, and I'm saying, so you mentioned about autonomous. So what's next, and where are we heading in construction world? You are the path leader, torchbearer in this direction. Yeah. So where are we going from here?
No, very true. And taking the cue from Mr. Pandey, I also would like to offer to all IITs that, we have around 10,000 pieces of equipment working with us. And we are here to provide enough platform to all of you to come and try whatever you want. One of them being making them autonomous, right? We would like to have, like our Mr. Kaishap said, that, we'd like to have a lot of remote monitoring processes, remote control processes, and remote, what you call improvement processes, right? And added to that, we'd like to have certain safety associated to whatever we are doing on the project. So welcome to you all IITs, please. Right. So what I feel now is, there is severe disruption is on the cards. It's digital coupled with analytics and AI will be the key. Everything will come on one platform. That's something which we are now dreaming of, be it survey, abstraction management, construction monitoring, quantity analysis, equipment productivity monitoring, billing, and the entire cycle. I think Mr. Rajan also has some platform of that kind. He calls it as connected project site. So they are already stepping into something, and what I'm seeing is having some more attachments to that, and making it as a kind of rightly said a manufacturing. We are now not going to do any more construction of roads. We are going to manufacture the roads. That's how it's going to become the future. Like, the utility data mapping, what Mr. Meena said, Mr. Pandey said, they are very important. That will certainly change the game altogether. The easy availability of data. Today we are struggling that because our starting time is getting shifted only because of that. And then creating, we are also trying, in the same lines, we are trying to create certain geo data bank. Like in one of the projects, for us to quote for a project, we had to survey at least around 1/3 of the entire state. So such a valuable data should not be thrown away. So we are just assimilating them and utilizing them for our future programs. So that is another part of digitalization in line with what Mr. Meena said. And I'm seeing a situation where the companies should own the satellites and handle their own project monitoring. That is what is the thing. Having said this, I find that there is a kind of mindset also among contractors, like some petty contractors or some contractors who feel that this is something bakwas. Like, what is digitalization? I've been in this field for more than 40 years, and what you guys are coming and trying to teach us. That is one mindset that has to change. Second is the technology should be, understood. Like, there will be certain initial cost towards this. and it has to be understood that costing and its related benefits have to be understood, so that there has to be a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of awareness programs and things like that. And skilling has to improve. Like we need to create a lot of digital based schools. Today we are all creating something to manage the equipment as well as the process in our old style. Whereas when it is coming to digitalized environment, there is no skilling institute or skilling schools. So these are something. So we need to get ready. We need to create a change in mindset. We need to understand the economics of scale and processes related to that, and we need to improve skilling. This is what I find as a kind of a way forward, Manav. I think I think this will take us a long way. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, sir. I think I agree. What you're saying is it is going to converge all the current technologies that are prevalent, the digitization of things, whether it is the kind of ERPs or the platforms that we are using, whether it is IoT, machine control, artificial intelligence, all are going to come on one platform. But end of the day, we need to manage the skill and mindset and culture aspects. So I think that's a perfect kind of summing up note that you have brought in, sir. And I'm looking at the clock, and I think we are over an hour now. I had definitely, this is a very interesting topic, and I think all of us being connected to the industry can talk for it or for a longer time. I just have few minutes for last few comments from Mr. Rajan or Mr. Kashyap, if they would want to add a few points to the conclusion, and then I think we can sum up this discussion. I'll try and sum up the discussion.
So just adding to SP Rajan sir. So actually, what one thing which we have realized is, the unnecessary communication and the decision makings which are taking a lot of time and delaying the decisions, in turn delaying your projects. So we are in the process of, and we have a roadmap of doing a B2B integration. So this B2B integration is to a level where, if a truck is dispatched, I mean, after the order is done and intimated to the SAP system through to their ERP module, once the truck is dispatched, the receiving site or the concerned guy has an SMS where he has all the details of what is coming, when it is coming, to an extent where if he wants to track the truck live, he can track the truck live, and it doesn't call anybody for, where the truck is. Similarly, I mean, the Way Bridge has an ETA of how many trucks are scheduled to reach the site, and he has a preparation as of how to manage the truck, how to manage all those unloadings. So, I mean, again, as I told you, it is a part of an IoT, and today I feel it's a part of business requirement aligned to the company's, national building. And like Pandey sir also said, everything has to come to one platform. So possibly all things put together might reach to that platform.
Absolutely, that's right. Mr. Rajan here.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I think the industry experts here have already spoken. So adoption of technology early in the stage, connecting the different stages of the construction continuum as we speak, from, as you said, from dirt all the way to O&M. That is very important. And then connecting of the various stakeholders and ensuring that through a kind of we call it a dashboard-based construction, providing the information real time as and when needed, and the right type of information to right stakeholders. I think this is the ultimate holy grail. And as Mr. Rajan mentioned, automation is going to be very, very key going forward. And, I was at a construction show and the average age there was 50 plus. And then I go to a drone show and everybody is wearing a ponytail. So the good news is that the ponytail guys are going to become driving the construction industry next, which means that India is very well placed in terms of adoption of technology, because we have a young workforce, we have a very knowledgeable workforce, we have a very easily scalable workforce. So all these means that technology will continue to be adopted at an accelerated pace, and we are going to see the benefit in terms of high quality world-class infrastructure built within time. I mean, L&T is going to build a significant part of the first high-speed rail and I'm really itching to go. Once I joked that maybe my grandson would go there, but right now I'm very confident that I'll be traveling there very quickly. So the point is, using technology, we're going to do everything on time, within budget, with the highest quality. I'm very, very confident of that. And India is rightly placed with the skill set that we have in AI, in technology, with the kind of entrepreneurship that we have. So many, we work with IIT Madras and IIT Delhi also on entrepreneurship. And we see so many young guys, full of energy and conviction, very important, and creativity, wanting to do something different, wanting to do something creative. I mean, something very important for the country. So I'm very, very optimistic.
All right, thank you. Absolutely. So I have with the kind of esteemed, panelists and experts that I have the unenviable job of trying to sum up the words of wisdom, which are just so many, and so many collective years of experience being spoken about here. So I think this is quite illuminating to anybody, I'm sure. I will quickly kind of recall, we said as a nation, why we discuss this topic is that we're talking about next 5 years, 1.6 trillion US dollars of investment to take India to a $5 trillion economy. That's the national imperative, national direction. That's where we are heading. Very close to all our hearts as a developing nation and as a kind of nation who wants to grow. People ambitious, nation is ambitious. And if that's the case, infrastructure plays a very critical role. And Mr. Pandey mentioned that we want to do more than 30 kilometers. Even 30 kilometers is not enough. We all said technology is essential. So I kind of say that the jury is out. Technology has a very vital role to play. Just to answer the question that we started with, going forward, all aspects of technology we spoke about, right from digitization of land records to building designs, alignments being decided through use of AI and technology, and then execution of work, monitoring of work, assessment of work which has been done on the ground, and monitoring of finally the QCD comes into play, the quality cost and the time QCT rather, which comes in, and we say that if we want to get the best ROI out of this $1.6 trillion for a developing nation who always wants the best use of its money, and then we can bring in the transparency and the accountability into the system using the technology, I think that's the best solution going forward. All we need is a broader consensus. The experts are convinced, the jury is out, but we need a broader consensus. We need greater conviction amongst the wider stakeholders. And I'm sure, with all the agencies involved today, we can confidently say that it's coming, it's essential, and we are heading towards, a very safe, high quality infrastructure creation for the nation going forward. So thank you very much, starting with Mr. Meena, who stopped en route to take our call today, Mr. Pandey, for your precious time, Mr. Rajan, Mr. Kashyap, and Mr. Rajan Nair. Thank you so much. And finally, thanks again to the IIT Delhi Alumni Association for this wonderful platform to discuss something very significant for all of us and developing a vision on that. So thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice
Thank you. Bye.
Happy New Year to everybody. Bye.
Wish you a very happy New Year in advance, and have a wonderful Sunday.
Bye bye.